right now. We're pulling away pretty quickly from community promo planet. We're already 200 million above them.
I'm surprised. Like, so was there some fallout that made them want to pull back?
They had a bunch of whales supporting them. They gave out NFTs for that, and somebody decided they had the NFT and didn't want to keep.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess I kind of forget that not every project's just propping up their own shit.
I've totally thought about that too, just on a personal level, being like, hey, reaching out to a whale and be like, hey, if you like add your stake, I'll send you some like a pack or something. And it's just like, no, because they'll just pull their stake and keep the pack. Like, why the fuck? That's such a bad deal.
I don't think it's reasonable to, and to each their own, and everyone's risk tolerance for that's different. But personally, like, I wouldn't put like any significant amount on any project. I probably would for like a temporary amount of time, like for like say 3 months or something. But anything longer than that to a project that I'm not intimately involved with, I think that's a waste of my personal assets, to be honest.
For me, it's also like, if
it's supposed to be like a crowdsource thing. Like I feel like it's ideal when it's like, okay, you have a community of say 1,000 people and everyone throws like 10 million at it. It's not like a huge amount, but it's not insignificant. And in numbers, it's great. But if you got whales propping you up and they got like 1 billion or like hundreds of millions on you, it just doesn't seem smart, given the nature of our planet, to do that for a long time as an individual collector.
I mean, also, if we're going to be real, they haven't posted an update in their server in 2 months. Like, they've pretty much just completely abandoned the space. Like,
so it's super risky in that sense.
If I were those whales pulling from Promo Planet, I might consider just redelegating it over to Neon Space and bumping our stake rates up, and then staking your Neon Space stuff.
I think they unstake it and they're planning on selling the prices still.
That's also assuming that they own Neon Space stuff. But yeah, I do like to see those unstakes happening. I'm gonna wait for the price to dump, and then maybe on like my strategy will come into the light here a little bit more, where buying every day at a fixed amount of a different currency is going to amount to way more Ether in the future. Like right now, it's like 15 million a day, but if the price dumps, it'll be like 20 or 30 million a day that gets added to the stake. Not to mention that can continue beyond the mining period. So even when like people stop printing Ether, I can still keep printing it because I'm printing it from my NFT rewards.
There's a little bit of a buffer here.
Yeah.
That is kind of funny. Yeah, that the sheer volume of Ether that's locked up in a team that is still like almost 2 years in now, or I guess like a year and a half in. It's barely given anything like at all, and the inventions are dead, even though they're kind of there.
I mean, if you watch their stream, they've been updating the game every single week and making progress. Like, if you've been paying attention at all,
I was gonna say I've seen some pretty cool.
Okay.
I have seen some pretty cool videos.
If you pay attention to anything they announce on their stream, then yes, they've done nothing. But
yeah, their community is definitely not as like robust on as far as like on their Discord side as it used to be. But it does look like they're building a kind of a game that I actually want to play. So I'm still looking forward to it.
The game could still suck. It's just they do have some issues. It's not like they've done 0 updates, and they literally every week do an update on the game, and they are making progress each week. You can do more in the game than you could the previous week.
Yeah, that's on me. I make hot takes without really backing it up, but I just don't like watching Bond. So I wish there was like another way to see it. Just from my own personal opinion, I just don't want to watch Bond
every week too. If you look, people summarize the text updates every single week of what Bond shows off in the AMA.
In the Discord or in Telegram?
I usually see it in Telegram, but
okay,
maybe in Discord. I don't really go in the Discord super often. It's pretty dead.
Yeah,
they're also doing another robot sale for land minerals. So people bitching that they haven't been able to use their land minerals for anything. You can craft robots again, and that's happening on the 16th in 2 days.
Yeah, I wonder if the land minerals will see any kind of impact on their secondary markets, or at least in those liquidity pools where I have a few of them.
They've already been moving around in the liquidity pools. Like, I was at negative on one side and I'm back to positive on both sides. The robots are not usable right now. The robots will be usable when the Conquest game launches, and it's the only way to get your land minerals in game. You cannot inject your land minerals in the game, but you can inject the robots. And there's no cap on land minerals, but the second the Conquest game starts, your lands will stop producing minerals outside of the game. So the land minerals will no longer be able to be harvested by the lands when the Conquest game launches. but they will be able to be used in game to boost your in-game minerals, but those don't exist on the blockchain.
Yeah, so it's similar to like Ether, where there's going to be a stop to the printing of new minerals, I think is the deal.
Yeah,
I have millions of each of them, so I'm pretty set. But
yeah, the devs could always change their mind. I'm going on based on what's written in the white paper, and it says that explicitly in the white paper that you will not be able to inject minerals in game, and the only way to do so is by crafting robots, injecting those into the game. And then those robots, some of them also don't use Weakenite, and all the other robots in the game do use Weakenite. So you'll be at a huge advantage if you have a big robot of injected robots, because you won't need the fuel to make them live, and you can go rob other people's fuel while they're mining if they don't have a big army of robots.
That's actually pretty dope.
It is kind of advantageous if you... Basically, everything's moving towards you need to use it in game, though. So if you're not going to play the game, like, yeah, nothing has a use case.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yes. My sign language is getting good.
Well, speaking of ending mining, aren't they putting a cap on brawl mining? Didn't they just announce that today?
Oh,
see,
yeah, and a burn event is they announced. I saw for brawlers.
690. There's still a shit ton. There's 679 million brawl counting down.
Yeah, they have a countdown timer now. So basically, like as the community
mines,
it's kind of cool. Yeah, and then once that ends, then brawl mining is no longer possible in game, and then they're shifting towards the PvP elements. There's like a Medium article they put out today, which is kind of interesting. I mean,
okay,
this I have paid attention to, so I guess I'm not full of shit on this one as much, but it does feel like you know, they're the communication's been good in the sense that, like with the Scotty burn event, it seems like they're kind of at least taking feedback from the issues from the last one and trying to build on it. So
I do fucking awesome. As somebody who holds Scotties, I'm planning on burning at least one or two if I can get enough.
I'd be pissed if I burned my Scotty and I didn't get another brawler though, because one of the options is like a swag pack, which is like really rare, but still I'd be like, I want a fucking brawler.
I think that's in addition to getting a brawler.
Oh, okay, that's super dope then. It just looked to me, it was like, here's the chance breakdown of what you get from the burn event on the bottom of this article, and then it's like one of the slots is not a brawler, which I was like, oh shit, could I burn my Scotty and then just get swag for it?
Yeah, but I mean, you'd be making the choice to do that, right? Like, I don't think you would make that choice unless.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's just like,
I mean, if you have an assload of Scotties and you're like, then I guess, you know, that could be icing on the cake if you wanted to, but I don't think anyone reasonably would do that as a strategy.
I feel like there's so few people who have ass loads of Scotties. I feel like if you're gonna be doing this burn event, most likely you have one or two extras.
There's people that
like
the Scotty farms are definitely a real thing.
I know that's a real thing. I'm just saying that's not the average player though, right? Like most people aren't gonna have more than like 3 or 4 Scotties.
Yeah, I don't know the math on that, on how many people have like, you know, 3+ Scotties or whatever you want to say, but I honestly don't know.
I'd be surprised if there's more than 20 people who have more than like 10 Scotties.
But I don't know. There's a like from just a general like
maybe like 100 people.
From a general perspective of like play games developing on Wax, I do like that Wax Studios in this case is, you know, walking the walk and saying, okay, these are problems last time. Here's how we're going to address it. You know, here we tried to get the gold economy back in place for these reasons. Now we're trying to focus on the brawl token. Here's what we're doing. I think the communication is very, very refreshing to me, and I appreciate it for that. And it's you know, it's shifting, and it's not waiting till things get out of hand to then do this major correction because it got so out of control. And you took way too much time to address it. And so like as we progress, I am slowly building more confidence in Wax Studios in the sense that they're kind of reading the room in a decent way. Not that it's perfect, but they're reading the room pretty well, in my opinion.
I think you can actually only get a swag kit. We're trying to read through their chat right now. That would definitely fucking suck.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, if I just get the swag kit and I don't get any of those brawlers, I'd rather have the less rare, like one of the brawlers than getting a swag kit if I'm burning the only one that I'm going to burn, basically.
But as someone
if I have
like
hundreds to burn, sure.
As someone with a mic like the artifact pack, I was really hoping that this Scotty burn event, and who's to say what it'll look like after this burn event, but the upgrade from a artifact pack and a Mike Yellerbelly into like the next kind of tier of the game is now even more difficult to attain because the
That's
next
true.
step is really far out of reach, and the rate at which you can play it is really hard. So I don't know if you just got to kind of this grinding phase, you're just at a disadvantage with Mike Yellerbelly, and it'll kind of hopefully even out when you get into a PvP realm. But it does seem kind of tough that you onboarded all these new players and now they don't really have as attainable of a goal on what you're going to work towards. But maybe they'll introduce a new common brawler. That's what I think makes sense, but I don't know if there's any indication that's the case.
I want a fucking Colt. I'll be so happy if I can burn my thing into a Colt. Colt was my end game anyway, so if I can jump the thing, it's also like 23% chance to get the rare instead of the uncommon.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
So yeah, it does seem like the Scotty Burn event definitely is more advantageous for the first kind of wave of players prior to this artifact pack. You know, the people that got in at the drop or shortly afterward.
It's actually more advantageous for everybody because this recipe is significantly cheaper than just crafting a berry. So if you're starting brand new, you can get a berry for cheaper than you could have if you had played the game for months. Like,
so it kind of brings the floor down on everything.
Yeah, I mean I guess you'd have to buy a Scotty, but I'm sure the Scotty prices are fucking skyrocketing today. Let me check. Yeah, like the craft price is significantly cheaper if you have a Scotty.
But yeah, if you zoom out a little bit, I mean, that first month of the game, the prices were absolutely through the roof. So what's expensive now is
fucking Scotty went up to 4,000 wax. He was 2,000 wax last night.
Like a fraction of what it was before.
There's very few Scotties on the market.
What is the new thing called? Like Patriot? 40,000 wax is the only one listed. There's only two.
What's the max mint, or is there no max mint? It's a mint on demand for now, right?
Mint on demand.
Yeah.
So depending on what people are willing to pay for these, you could potentially flip it for more than you could even the thing you blend into.
Damn,
I'm still gonna roll the dice. I'll be pissed if I get that, to be honest. But
that's what I was thinking.
That is wild. Yeah, I guess there's really not that many Scotties on the market. Yeah. They've been selling for 4,000 wax. Like people are buying it. Holy shit. Even as early as 10 this morning, it just skyrocketed. It went from like 2,500 wax to like 3,000 to 4,000 and up. That's wild.
Damn, a lot of them are burned already.
Let's see how many burned. 1,000 of these ones are still around. This one has 500 burns. Still 6,000. Still a bunch of Scotties out there. Most people are playing with them. Most people aren't trying to put them on the market.
Yeah. They're definitely out of my price range. They were still out of my range at like 2,000. If they had dropped to like 14, 15, I might have thought about it. But I think they did in between, and I just wasn't liquid. These markets move so fast.
I think I like everything about this except the swag get chances. Max is saying I would definitely not want to get a.
Yeah, I would be like, oh god, hopefully somebody buys it.
So I would list it immediately because I'm not trying to fucking sit on that thing while more of them get minted.
Yeah,
one
same.
is listed at 40,000. If you sell it for even half that 20,000, that's going to be worth way more than a berry. So
yeah,
depending on what people are willing to pay for them, it could be better. But I also don't think that looks very good.
Yeah, not for 20,000 wax good, especially if it's only cosmetic too. So like you're not going to get any of the bot farm pressure to buy your stuff.
Yeah, the prices are way cheaper too. Like last time it cost over retail value to craft. Like that's why nobody's doing it. They're like, you're charging us extra to burn into the berry. Like it was more expensive if you like take into account the craft costs of Scotty, and this time they made it cheaper, so it's more like a bigger incentive to burn. Definitely learned their lesson from last time, and now people are going wild for the burn.
Yeah, they do seem to be like adjusting the course, like course correcting as they go along, which is kind of great.
And let's see, what do I have? Can I burn one right now? I need 2 more gold, and I'll be able to burn one. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow on stream. Or maybe I'll do it before tomorrow because I can't fucking wait.
So the burn event runs for a week, right? 7 days.
Yeah, you got 7 days to figure out if you want to burn. But I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm excited to try to get something besides a uncommon. And also, if you do get an uncommon, it's cheaper than crafting it. So I feel like, I don't know. We'll see. This could make Scotty super rare, though. I could see so many people burning out a Scotty that like it's advantageous just to hold your Scotty because Scotty's
Yeah.
the best gold producer, and the gold prices might go up because they're burning the best gold producer. But we'll see. It's hard to say. It's all speculative assets, baby.
Yeah.
Let's do a giveaway before we get into tech talk. We got these wombat hats. We got to give away. That's 69 of them still. There's a shit ton of these.
But yeah, do you want to? Max teased us in Discord a little bit, but he had like kind of a fun idea for
I thought about like, I thought about like starting from scratch with just 100 wax and then seeing what we can do week over week to grow that position using like, DeFi either on wax or outside of wax. But if we move outside of wax, going over how we go from wax over to whatever else we're going to end up doing. But I think that's a cool idea. I feel like we should this week start on wax and like, do a wax DeFi strategy position and then see how we're doing a week from now.
Yeah. So, see how far Max can take. What was 100 wax? So effectively like $10 and see how much you can grow 10 wax or $10 or 100 wax over, however much time. Show that you can succeed in a bear market. And how?
Yeah. And it's not going to try to do like swing trades or do anything outside of whatever is happening live on Tuesdays. So it's not going to be like positions that I change during the week. It'll only be when I'm streaming. I'll be like, okay, we did this last week. It's still here. So now let's like unwrap this position if that's what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that's that's approachable to the layperson. We here at Neon Space walk a very fine line of entrepreneurship and unemployment, which is not exactly common to have that much time on your hands for the average Joe here. So we're trying to make it you don't have to sit in front of your computer and like sweat bullets swing trading on the toilet or sneak off at your job into a closet to keep along,
cancel your evening plans because the markets are moving a certain way.
Super duper not financial advice, more of just like a following certain strategies and educational piece here. So this could get very close into financial advice. So I really want to be explicit about that.
Yeah, it's 100% educational kind of idea. Like I'll do this as a demo, kind of like here's what I can do with 100 wax right now. And if I don't even have a wax wallet, like let's start there. Like I'm going to start by making a wax wallet.
Yeah. But like I really like that Chain Champs idea, what he had done, that he took like, $10 and through flipping NFTs to $1,000. And I think he did it in like a month or something like that, which is pretty wild.
Incredibly impressive. I absolutely don't expect to be able to turn.
I mean, that was like kind of different marketing conditions, and it was specifically with NFTs, but it's still pretty damn impressive, honestly.
All right, I'm gonna start this marble thing. I'm gonna do the intro. It's gonna get loud. Turn down your volume if you don't want to get blasted.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Exclamation point play if you want to join the giveaway. This will be for the top 3 racers will get wombat hats. These wombat hats are only usable until next season, so they will lose utility in like a week, 2 weeks. I don't know the exact. I think it's 2 weeks now. And I don't even know if they have utility by themselves. I think you have to blend them to get utility because it says like 100% celebration if you wear it now. So I think you need to blend them to actually get like any sort of gameplay utility. But do with them what you please. You can sell it or put it on your wombat or blend them.
Yeah.
I'm freaking tired. I stayed up way too late last night. It's up to like 5 a.m. again.
Damn. What was going on till 5 a.m.?
Talking to people, servers.
Oh, nice.
You got to keep that finger on the pulse, Max.
Yeah,
People
I was
have
doing
been
some
accusing
digging on.
blockchain brawlers of wash trading their own token to get enough volume to be added to Qcoin, and there's some pretty legitimate evidence against that.
That sounds honestly like business as usual for the space, like not just for Wax, just in general. That's very common practice. I mean, it's shady, but that's
And other people are trying to
Like-
tell me that Mining Network has a better team than blockchain brawlers, and they're like, "It's the guy from Warspace." I'm like, "Isn't that being voted for the best rug pull right now on that website?"
Yeah, Workspace is a very well-known rug.
You're like, that's your legitimacy to Mining Network. Like, if that's the only link, that's a bad.
it's the
fucking
rug
site.
pull guy.
But
That's funny. Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
wash
somebody
trading
looked
your
up,
own
like,
token.
Stockholm syndrome. They just build these people in their minds with like of who they want them to be without any real interaction or evidence to support it. I think it's just wishful thinking gone.
people just
horribly
don't
wrong.
get teams or care at all as long as the price keeps going up. It's the same thing with Farmers World. They were super sketchy the entire time. As long as the money's going up, people are going to defend it. And say it's
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. Mining Network
Yeah.
is great because they made a lot of money, and that those things aren't mutually exclusive. But you know, they don't need to both be.
And
be
the
case.
money is going up. There's like an asset with 800,000 mints that's worth $1 right now. So like, yeah, if you made
Damn.
multi accounts and did that, you'd be pretty happy that you're making money off that. So I don't know.
Printing dollars.
It is what it
Yeah.
is. I still don't trust. I don't trust Mining Network even a little fucking bit, and I have no interest in playing it or being involved. But people are making money on it, so you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy to compare the teams. Mike has like 20 to 30 years of game development experiences. Fucking developed multiple games that I've played outside of the space without me even knowing it. And then like you got some team with like unknown developers that are
It's better.
You're like, "Same thing."
Yeah. It's definitely though, like I would say the wash trading your own token to build your volume to get listed on exchanges is pretty much the same as like doing free giveaways in a Discord to pump your Discord numbers to get like partnership deals based on those metrics. It's just an abstract metric that the like exchange cares to see high volume because they make money on volume. And why would they list your token if nobody trades it? Because they only make money if some people are trading it on their cut of the trading. So people just pump their own trade volume all the time across the board. Like
It's also speculative. Like just because you see something in the blockchain doesn't mean you know the story behind it. They had a budget of like 400 million brawl for marketing. And like, for all I know, they sent that to someone who owns an exchange to pay them to get onto the exchange. And that person just dumped it all in Alcor. Like, and it didn't have anything to do with wash trading. And like, I don't know, it's not verifiable just because you can track, like, we don't know the backstory. So it does look fishy, but that's why I was like telling them is like, this doesn't prove necessarily that there's foul play here.
Yeah, you could also just have them supplying liquidity to a like arbitrage bot that like is keeping balance between the markets, and then it is just them trading into themselves.
The account
But to
also
keep
has
the markets level.
5,000 transactions, and I was like, I'm not going to go through these 5,000 transactions to figure out like when their ins and outs are and if they're like trading this recreationally or I don't know. I don't know enough about what's going on with those accounts, but there is a direct link to an account on the Wax team that gets paid for all of the Wax projects. It has like profit share from Hot Wheels, profit share from Funko, like every brand they've onboarded, that wallet's getting paid by that, and then that wallet sent like several 100,000 Wax to multiple wallets that are buying a shit ton of brawl in the aftermarket. So it is pretty suspicious, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not like 100% firm evidence.
It is. I mean, it is evidence. So you can look at the evidence yourself and then make up your own mind. That's kind of the deal in this space. So, I feel like if you find it too fishy to participate,
I also thought
then
about it. I
that
was like, even
can
if they
be
did
your
do
smoking
this,
gun. And
personally, even if that is what they're doing, as long as they're not minting tokens to their own wallet and dumping them, and they're just like, I guess, like inflating the volume. Like, I guess if that increases the value of the token because it's being added to Qcoin, I'm sort of okay with that as a player. Like, that's not even like the biggest foul for me. But I guess I could understand if other people are like, that I wanted to.
I mean, isn't wash trading technically still allowed? It's not regulated the same as stocks in that
in the
way.
United
Like,
States, it's allowed. Yeah.
Yeah,
It depends on your
like
jurisdiction.
typically there's like 30-day wash trade like timers or whatever for stocks that you can't do that, but that isn't applied to crypto at this point in time. I mean, you could disagree with that and that expect that kind of legislation, which I think that kind of regulation would make sense long term. But in the current climate, it's technically okay. Now, whether or not that's good
being
business
immoral
practice,
and illegal are different.
Yeah,
what I would say
it's
is don't use that metric as a reason to ape into Brawl. Don't buy Brawl just because the volume might be manipulated. But I'm not buying, like, I'm playing the game, and it has nothing to really do with like the gameplay. I'm not investing in it as an investment, and I don't know. I'm sort of fine with like them doing that behind the scenes personally, but it's also not even proven that they were officially doing that. But again,
wash trading
there's blockchain data that supports that.
Yeah, manipulation of the volume.
There's also like, I don't know, like you can't get the full picture just by using Wax Detective. Wax Detective isn't the end all of like, I have found out from banning people from our marble race, I was wrong a bunch of times because of Wax Detective. Wax Detective is not always right. So like just using that as 100% definitive evidence is not enough for me personally. But I'm just saying, even if it was, it doesn't bother me to the point where I'm like, fuck blockchain brawlers. I'm going to stop playing this game. I don't want to play the game developed by the guy from Magic because they wash traded their token to get it added to Qcoin. Like that isn't the biggest deal for me. But I'm also using my in-game stake to reinvest in playing. Like I'm not spending outside money on Brawl. So I guess just be aware that if you're trying to ape into Brawl, that the volume might have been manipulated. So maybe don't invest your life savings into Brawl.
Yeah, the other thing about
Wax Detective, it just shows wallets that have sent wax back and forth to each other. So it doesn't show NFTs that have been traded back and forth, and it doesn't show any other tokens. It just shows wax that has been sent between multiple accounts, I believe.
You can also very, very easily obscure that transaction volume by simply making a OTC order on one wallet using Alcor exchange and then buying it from your other wallet, and now the volume went through Alcor instead of from your wallet to that wallet. I mean, it's really not like a big deal.
They were doing market orders, they weren't doing OTC orders.
Yeah. Oh, I just mean like if you're using Wax Detective, like it's not too hard to like obscure a direct path between two wallets.
Yeah.
Like,
they weren't trying to either. Literally, like a
like
wallet directly funded Brawl and Wax, multiple wallets that were trading to each other.
I just don't think they're stupid enough to like
I don't even know that they're trading to each other. I just know they were both trading on Alcor at the same time. So like again, it doesn't prove anything. It's just very fishy.
Yeah. It's
that's why I was doing it 4 a.m. That's a long-winded way of answering your question. I was viewing a bunch of fucking transactions on the blockchain and trying to see if people are doing shady stuff. I also tried to research the mining network team. They have their names listed on their website. When I Google them, nobody shows up as anything to do with game development anywhere. So I'm like, yeah, they might have given you names, but you can't find who these people are on LinkedIn or like, I don't know. It's unclear that these are real people just because there's names on here. Or that they're qualified to be running a crypto company.
I definitely come up on Google like the top like multiple results, at least on my own Google search. I don't know if that happens across the board. It might just be because
look at you, big deal.
I also have a very like non-common name.
Yeah, you Google my name. I think it comes up with some lawyer in like Nebraska or something. But I don't need the fame here.
Here, ready? It's my name, Maxi.
Yeah, Max has been teaching himself sign language, or he and Paul are. You're taking classes, right, at the community college, right?
Yeah, at the like community college. Just taking a sign language 101 ASL class.
I'll tell you who does show up when you search for Michael Rubinelli on the game developers website. It shows a credit of fucking like 40 games that he's developed. So that for the Wax team.
Strong name, Rubinelli. Man, that's a very memorable name. Although Rube technically has a bad connotation though, if you're thinking Rube specifically.
Thank you for the subscription, Baggy Hodler. Yeah, the
he's a marble winner. Baggy Hodler has a. I
think Baggy Hodler is also just in your Discord. Shout out Baggy Hodler.
Yeah, Baggy Hodler is like an OG in our community.
What else was I doing? I was in like the promo Our Planet chat last night talking to a bunch of people at 4 a.m. Talking about mining networks, talking about blockchain brawlers.
Were they complaining about getting
stake. I was like, Shh, don't tell people. I don't want the fucking whales to vote us back out.
Yeah.
But it looks like they pulled their stake instead of voting themselves back in, so that's okay.
Yeah. I wonder if in 30 days they'll dump it all.
We'll see. It hasn't even been like 12 hours since they're aware it's happening, but nobody seems to be rallying behind them. They seem to be like, the sky is falling more than let's rally and vote more.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. We're within a range that one person with a large claim could do it.
Yeah, it's close.
Fuck. My Amazon.
For real.
Although, I mean, I do think
I'll do
having
one race.
like 4.5 billion of mostly our own Aether that, as you know, community-driven voters like pull out over time, that will be
We definitely have a lot of people in the
stronger
community supporting us.
What's up?
Yeah, we do.
I don't want to totally discredit all the
I
people
was saying that
supporting us.
yesterday. I was like,
They're voting for our collection. There are
there's like millions of Ether staked outside of the three of us from just our community. It's fucking dope. And again, I also feel like it should be on us to provide that initial stake anyway. If we're like trying to be like, hey, we have, I guess we're not even trying to be like we have stake utility, but even then, I feel like, yeah, I'm pretty thrilled to see like our community participate in it. Like I was saying that in Discord the other day too. I was like, it's not just the three of us, although we're definitely like the lion's share of that.
we're definitely a good chunk.
There's like
people.
hundreds of millions, or like at least a couple 100 million from like our community,
Thank you
which
for
is
the
like
subscription
fuck yeah, dude.
tune. Unless somebody's gifting us subscriptions, then thank you for that. I can never tell. It's only one.
Oh
so
yeah,
I see-
usually I keep Twitch open, so I don't want Twitch open to double check.
Let's see.
I've heard questionable things about Androbots, but I don't have any firm details behind that. Burst says he thinks it's the guys who did Just Learn Crypto who basically completely rugged the space last year. They're like located in the same city in Canada and like were around the time when Our Planet was big. So he thinks one of those dudes started Androbots. But
feel like-
I don't know that for a fact. That's complete speculation, but that is something I've been told through the grapevines.
Yeah,
And Burst
if I'm
also
gonna listen to
turned out to be right
speculation,
about a lot of those things, but I don't
yeah,
know.
Burst knows his shit.
It's because
I'm
they
gonna
live
listen
near
to
him in
somebody
Canada.
speculate. Yeah, if I'm gonna
Anyway,
listen to someone
I'm gonna try this
speculating,
I gotta
it'll be him.
fucking put stuff in the freezer that just got shipped to me from Amazon. I'll be right back.
Oh, word. Last night I was digging through some fucking DeFi like money market protocol shenanigans on Kronos blockchain. It's fascinating stuff. There's like, I mean, I really like Mimas, which is a fork of, you know, like Tranquil over there, and I use that. But the biggest money market on the Kronos chain is Annex. And what I was seeing yesterday is like some evidence that like their price aggregation, like the way that they monitor pricing for the assets that they like allowed to use in the money market, doesn't seem to come from any like decentralized Oracle service, and seems to be like they can just change the price of assets as they wish.
Yeah, that's kind of sketchy. So, okay, so since there's no Oracle governing it through a smart contract, they just can type in whatever number they want.
Yeah, like Tranquil's prices
Seems like a
are
pretty major flaw.
insanely- Oh, massive. And it's
Oh,
funny,
can
like,
you
nobody is-
fill in the blanks for me if there's anything about Celsius? I know there's like a big to do about Celsius with the idea that they pause withdrawals. So it's a DeFi protocol, but they had paused so people couldn't withdraw. Is it that they couldn't withdraw out of liquidity pools, or they couldn't? Because I mean, if it's a decentralized, I guess you couldn't.
So
pull your
that's the thing
tokens
that people
and
are.
here.
Yeah, so this is the thing that I'm seeing a lot of like recently here in DeFi, and people losing faith in DeFi, or thinking that DeFi is coming to an end or dying because of things like Terra Luna collapse and now the Celsius like insolvency concerns. So first of all, Celsius is not DeFi. It's centralized finance. It's basically an exchange broker based out of the UK, as far as I understand it, who acts as a money market, like moneymaker on their client's behalf. So when you deposit your assets into Celsius, it's in a custodial wallet, which they then use to delegate across different strategies in the like in crypto and in the DeFi space. But they're doing that from their centralized wallets, and then crediting your account with whatever your share of that balance is. So that's how they're, every week I think they adjust their interest rates that they're paying out for the different assets that you can deposit. But depositing equals sending your asset to a custodial third party.
Yeah,
who
so instead
then
of,
does something for
because
you.
in a typical DeFi protocol, it's you and the blockchain. You know,
Exactly.
like
There's nobody
they
between you
create
and
the
your money.
interface, they create the some of the smart contracts, but at the end of the day, any transactions you're doing are between you and the blockchain, and they cannot change that
Yeah.
dynamic. So I guess this one
So
being a
the
custodial, it
issue-
acts like a DeFi protocol with custodial mechanisms.
A middleman is basically, it's basically like if you send me your money and I put your money into DeFi and then I give you a cut of the profit that we're making from this. That's what Celsius is doing for you. But people then misunderstand what Celsius is and treat it as like basically a bank account with high interest, not understanding the risk of what is currently playing out, which is kind of equivalent to a bank run where everybody or a lot of people are asking for withdrawals from this protocol, but the actual funds are being used within DeFi lending platforms for the most part, and as well as other strategies. But that means that all those funds aren't fucking on hand at all times. And so when many users were asking for funds to be withdrawn, Celsius wasn't able to fill all of those withdrawal requests without pulling from those DeFi positions and unwrapping those positions, which takes time, especially at scale. It takes time to do that without impacting the price dramatically. So during this time, while they're basically sourcing the money to fill those withdrawals, they have to pause the withdrawals to, because they can't send them stuff they don't actually have unwrapped. Like they have the assets, they're just not unwrapped in a way that they're liquid and ready to send to their clients. That is also coupled with one of their positions that is part of this whole DeFi portfolio that they're maintaining effectively to generate this interest, is a huge position on Maker DAO on the Ethereum, which is the DAO that issues DAI stablecoin. So they have a ton of Ethereum in that, and DAI that basically they need to pay the DAI back, and it's like a short sell, similar kind of situation. And basically they're not able to withdraw as much as they need without getting closer to liquidation risk. So right now, to mitigate those risks, they're pausing withdrawals. I'm not sure that the company is entirely insolvent. They're backed by a lot of venture capitalist money too. It's not all on the blockchain. And I don't think people are gonna lose everything they have in there. They're just gonna have to wait until the withdrawals open up again.
Yeah, and then the price at which
liquidity
you
is
want to
becoming
sell
available.
may be astronomically different than what you intended to do. So the
Yeah,
speed
so
at
the
which
big
you can
issue
act
is the
on-
nomenclature, people talking about it as if it was DeFi and then misunderstanding the
because it's not
direct access
decentralized,
BP,
right?
because it is
Yeah.
not. It's not decentralized. So that, and then people using what is effectively a money market account, which is what I would say. So Celsius is offering you a custodial money market account where they are the money market and they are making you money. With just like with any money market account, they should have a vesting period, but they don't. So most people have used it like a bank account where it's like, oh, I'll just deposit my paycheck in here, and then I'll deposit my paycheck on Friday, and then next week Wednesday I'll withdraw half of it.
Yeah, and
But
I
I'll
think
have
the
earned
big thing
interest
is
in
they
those
offered very aggressive stake rates or interest rates for depositing supplier side capital in there, and so
and they can do that because the DeFi scene was providing those rates. But now that DeFi is also experiencing many people pulling their money, many people becoming more conservative, the yield of these protocols is decreasing. And so, yes, of course, the centralized people's yield is also decreasing. And what they have to do then is like, well, to our clients who were expecting, 10%, we actually have to reduce that rate to like 6%. Not because we want to take a bigger cut, but because legitimately that's what we're making now in this strategy that we're maintaining for you. But then the client is like, whoa, hold on, it just went from 10 to 6. I expected 10% forever. Give me my money back. And then everybody said that and was like, and then it was like, well, hold on, we don't actually have like $1.5 billion liquid to give everybody back their money immediately. This is a money market. We need to unwrap these loans. So that's what's like going to take probably like a week or so. And then next week, I imagine everyone who was bitching about their funds being locked will have their money back. The only way to lose money in that protocol, as far as I understand recently, as was said by their representatives, is if you have open loans that you're not paying the principal down on, it's possible to still get liquidated while your withdrawals are not open. But other than that, if you just have supplied money and are earning that interest on your money, there should not be any risk of that money being lost. That said, part of their massive portfolio that they maintain to make all this money for people did include a position in UST and Terra, and I'm not 100% sure how much they lost in that collapse. And that loss, they would obviously cover for their clients. So they would have to absorb that. So if they had lost like $100 or $200 million because of that collapse, then there can be those concerns of insolvency that like, oh, even though they still have that money, like some of their clients must have to take a loss as well, or they can't pay all of their clients back,
Yeah, whereas like in a DeFi scenario, if you over leverage, the smart contract liquidates you. The funds are locked, connected to your wallet. So when you approve that smart contract, if you get to a point that you're liquidated, those funds are taken and they are absorbed at that point in time.
Yeah,
whereas
basically become up for grabs. Anybody can take them
factor. Then there's the business is determining when or if to do that, and they allow wiggle room and probably allow better rates or more more flexibility in their protocol because they take on more of the risk for the solvency. But as you see in a lot of these kind of big blockbuster news stories like Terra Luna and now Celsius, they aren't as open with how solvent they are. And I think their regulators haven't been pushing as hard because crypto is falling in this SEC gray area of how much are they really being regulated, to really aren't being held accountable to prove their solvency as much as they traditional finance has because of legislation.
Yeah, exactly. Like when they issue like their interest rate, they don't have to have they don't have like an auditing authority like the legacy financial system has, who then looks and is like, oh, you actually have the backing to offer that interest. Whereas right now they offer those 10, 12, 13% interest rates based on what's happening right fucking now in DeFi. And like we saw over the last 2-3 months, that picture can change aggressively. I mean, Compound Protocol is down to $4 billion. It was at $17 billion 4 months ago. So
yes, you got to have some runway for these things,
Yeah, the money can move very quickly, and it's like, again, it's similar to that wash trading thing we're talking about with Brawl Token. You shouldn't rely on those metrics because you should understand that even if like Brawl Token, let's say they have a liquidity pool with 10 million wax counterpart, that can still be pulled within the same second as it was added. Like those amounts of value can move just very quickly if they're owned by individual parties. So what matters more than is somebody wash trading is how many people are wash trading. If it's a good, healthy like collection of people, that's actually not that bad of a thing. But either way, the metrics.
I want to address this question. They said, heads up, you got to edit the point distribution of marbles now. They only reward the top 3 with points, or it's 14 or 12. Our season points have nothing to do with the points they reward. I set it up custom, has been since the very first season we did, and it's still the top 20 people get points, and every single person gets 1 participation point. But I just want to show you that so you can verify I'm not lying, but we don't need to edit anything.
Yeah. Oh, and then one more thing about Celsius that I wanted to get into. Celsius uses the Lido protocol to stake Ethereum to the Ethereum 2.0 like migration thing that's going on. Basically what that is They're using a DeFi protocol, staking Ethereum to the DeFi protocol, which then manages it on the layer 2 and is earning the interest for it, but won't be accessible until that not layer 2, until that 2.0 version of Ethereum actually goes live. So they're already earning yield on those, but they can't claim the yield until that migration happens. In the meantime, they get a ST Ethereum token. For each Ethereum they deposit is represented by one ST Ethereum, and then that ST Ethereum has a liquidity pool on Curve where you can trade 1-to-1 between those two assets. And so they hold a big position in ST Ethereum, which is supposedly worth 1-to-1, but can also be used in its money market to be lent out, which is how they're earning additional yield on already staked Ethereum. Now the fact is the liquidity pool available is $1 billion deep on Curve, but they've also lent out so much of this ST Ethereum that it's possible like something like $200 million worth of Ethereum can be used to depeg ST Ethereum and Ethereum on Curve and use that to kind of like cascade the value of ST Ethereum, which again, Celsius holds a decent position in. But if you were to drop the value of ST ETH from ETH by basically, you know, selling a ton of ST Ethereum into that pool, which is happening because this migration to version 2 of Ethereum isn't happening on schedule. It's been postponed again.
Oh, so Max, you got to find an off ramp here. I'm losing it. I'm losing focus too.
I guess
we're doing Crittercraft giveaway. Play if you'd like to join the giveaway.
The risk is that if the Lido protocol's ST Ethereum is basically attacked by borrowed ST Ethereum from Celsius network, and that is used to depeg the value of ST Ethereum and Ethereum, that depegging can cause Celsius to become insolvent because Celsius owns those ST Ethereum, which are valued at Ethereum and lent out at that value, which if they dump the value of that token, even short term, and force a margin call on Celsius's position, Celsius would have to buy back this ST Ethereum at the much shittier price, or I would have to basically
and
sell
they'll eat
it
an enormous loss and
they'll eat a huge loss.
Company,
yeah. And again, this can be exacerbated by the migration to 2.0 being postponed. So there is real risk of insolvency. It's just not what's happening right now.
For all the people entering their Wax wallets, we need you to fill out our form. We don't send them based on the Crittercraft information. So sorry about that, but we got ! form. If you end up winning, you'll need to fill it out once. If you've ever been on a stream before, you're probably good. But if you're brand new, you might need to fill it out. And I want to address this question. Said, what NFT projects do you normally / lately look at? You're new on stream. Today is our Tech Talk day, so we'll be focusing less on NFTs, but every other day of the week, we do more NFT heavy streams. Earlier today, we're going over Blockchain Brawlers. I'm a big fan of that project. I'm doing the Ultra Rare Burn event for Ultra Comics.
Yeah, we've been into
ZOS,
Coin Pirates.
Yeah,
I've still been kind of trucking along on.
I keep fucking forgetting.
You've been playing Kawaii, right, Lou? Like I think some people in the community have been playing Kawaii as well. We talked to Sonyaka about that project last week, and then
I got some Zen Dodos too.
And I guess Wombat Dungeon. We have Sasha on this week. The Wombat Dungeon.
I'm also super into Blankos. I play Blankos every single day, but that's not on Max.
I was playing Blankos while Max lost me on tech stuff. So
I also zoned out on that.
It's
to close the loop on it is the idea that if Celsius is insolvent, goes under, and you have your money in there, they are not FDIC insured. So you do not have legal recourse to get your money back, or there is no legal precedent for them to pay you back. So if they declare bankruptcy, you do not get your money back unless maybe there's some sort of class action lawsuit or something. But that with also
somewhere.
Yeah, someone's got to put up the money, and FDIC does not insure that. They don't insure most exchanges at this point in time, given the way that crypto is regulated. So, I mean, is Coinbase FDIC insured?
Coinbase has like aspects of its platform that are like the cash balance you have in your Coinbase account is FDIC insured.
Okay.
Some of the stuff that they offer in their earn balances is not. but you have to do a lot of reading through their fucking terms to understand what part of your investment is actually insured.
One
Same
thing
goes for
here.
Gemini.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Wait. So there's some issue with the form not letting me write on it. Maybe do like Control F5 and just refresh the cookies on that or something.
I mean, let's make sure it didn't close somehow.
And then there was like a quick little tech one for you, Mac.
It says we're accepting responses, so the form should still be open unless we somehow hit like.
So that might be a browser issue for you specifically. But Control F5 is like a hard refresh for that tab, so that one might work. I have to do that all the time for Coin Pirates. Max, do you happen to know the difference between amplified AMM being automated market makers and normal automated market maker? I'm studying Curve right now and don't understand this amplifier equation. I feel like I might be opening Pandora's box here, Max, but
I can. I can send you some like mathematic like documents that break down the curve equation because it's fucking fascinating. Like it's a way to trade like valued assets without slippage impact, even if you're doing way more than that pool should be able to manage.
I think the answer to that is he will hit you up in the DMs. That's not something that most people.
That's going to lose everybody very quickly.
That's a whole thing in and of itself, like a whole tech talk day. So
I don't think that there's enough of an audience for that topic at all. Like that's something that like me and maybe like 2 or 3 other people I've ever like even talked to online would actually be interested in. Like it's literally just like the math equation that lets you trade along the curve, like instead of trade. Yeah, that's why it's called curve. Like, it's basically it's so fucking cool. It makes the whole like naming convention of all this shit like great.
I guess let us know if the form doesn't work. We can figure out your wax wallet in another way as well. Okay,
all good. Good to hear. Good to hear. I was gonna freak out if that form stopped working because that's a big part of our giveaways.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to cut you down, Max, but you know, trying to we get off the rails too easily. When we get off the rails on tech, it's even harder to get back on track.
It's so fucking fascinating, and it goes so deep. And like, I don't know. One conversation I was having yesterday with people in a chat room about DeFi, like that was kind of sharing their sentiment on thinking DeFi is dead, and they were like, "I'm never gonna get into any of this stuff again. Like, I'm gonna stick to what I'm like used to." And they're like, "This whole like thing is like a Ponzi scheme and it's rigged." And I was just like, "Yeah, like that's not unique to the crypto space," is my opinion on that. But the unique side is that the thing that even if the system is rigged, I can still participate to the full extent that anybody else in this rigged system is participating. That's just not true in the legacy system. Like I cannot participate the same way that like an accredited investor, buying through like Citadel's dark pools can participate. But I can do whatever anybody is doing, like what Coinbase does with your money when you put your money into their earn program. I can do that same shit from my wallet without using Coinbase.
Yeah, you can cut the middleman.
In that sense, like I was like, I don't think it's dead, and I think like it's actually the opposite. Like I think corruption is always going to be a function of wealth. Like,
the premise of the question is fundamentally flawed because you're implying that crypto is rigged and the legacy system is not. Because the legacy system
like I'm going back to like trading
like
stocks, like
backdoors
I hate stocks.
It has all kinds of corruption and pieces that can be exploited. It's just that you don't have the ability to exploit it in the same way that institutions do. Whereas like, crypto also, I'm not saying it's perfect and I'm not saying it doesn't have its dark corners, but it means that you can at least play on the same playing field, like Max had said. Whereas, there's equally dark corners of legacy finance, but unless you're a hedge fund, which none of us are, then you're shit out of luck and you just got to ride the roller coaster.
Oh baby,
I'm sending the prizes now. Lance, if you're still watching, I don't have your wallet on the prize form. I mean, I kind of know it, but it's just easier if you can put it on there so I can copy and paste it. And also we're ready for the tech talk.
Yeah, let's take a look first at the crypto market here. There is some really interesting, like obviously we went down this week like we were expecting to, which is great. Here's the Ethereum chart we've been watching, getting a little zoomed out now. We stayed below the middle like downtrend line too. We didn't even need to get close to the Gandalf line. which is the you shall not pass line here. They were looking at Ethereum on the daily, and like, look at this too. Money is just escaping this market, like on balance volume tanking. I hate my mouse. The scroll wheel is like every one, like I'll scroll down and it'll go up and down. Okay, here. Let me also turn off my buy sell indications. So it's only what everybody else can use too.
Is that a common term, the Gandalf line, or is that your own terminology?
I think maybe it's just me and Sid call it that.
Okay.
Like, you shall not pass. And the way I draw that one is like from the top of the bull market starting, so end of the bull market, and then once we had a few of these peaks where we got to the top, I wanted like, okay, that peak, and then I think this peak existed before I drew the line. But once we turned down here again, it was like, okay, now I can draw this line, and I want to see it stay below this line. And then the other line is like the general trend, which I drew then from kind of the like the also top of the bear market, but hitting the bottom of those valleys.
So this is like the bridge of Khazad-dûm.
Yeah, the idea for this blue one, the darker blue one, is to try to be most in the center for the majority of the time. So you can see here centered, and then we pulled up away from it just to test the Gandalf line, got rejected, and then bounced, kind of held at the trend line again, and now we're losing the trend line and getting dumped down. Still, my hard bottom for Ethereum is all the way at fucking 850. But you can see this orange one. Like I was saying in Discord yesterday, I took profit at 1,200 and 1,100 in Ethereum on the short sell. So I'm starting to scale down a bit. We are getting closer to these targets. And once we go under $1,000 per Ethereum, I probably will not be short selling quite as much. I'll more be interested in starting to accumulate a new position back in Ethereum. If I can buy ETH under $1,000 and Bitcoin under like 20, I'm gonna be buying and not short selling.
Yes, this is kind of like the general trend that Max and Sid have been following. So like their TA kind of led them to believe that there was kind of resistance around 1,300 and resistance around 1,000. So this yesterday it kind of tickled the 1,100 range, and so they were kind of close but maybe a little under. And then now you can see when these resistance lines get hit, there's like a retest, there's like kind of a slight pump, and then it kind of maybe meanders sideways and goes down or goes back up depending on kind of what other indicators are there. But so if you're kind of trying to learn along with like I am here, I'm slowly kind of through repetition getting these things. So now that I this is kind of the retest phase, and we'll see how high it retests or how it retests, or certain indicators within the retest to pump that you can kind of look at. But that's why you kind of see this bounce where, wax at 8 cents. Max had mentioned that many months ago, and now here we are kind of meandering at 8 cents. Same thing. I think Sid had mentioned he thought Bitcoin was going to hit resistance around 21,000. And it kind of was somewhere near that, and now it's meandering sideways a little bit up in 22,000. So this is where people get trapped, where they see, oh, okay, it pumped back up, this is the bottom, but it's really just kind of a false flag, and then it pumps up just a little bit and then falls back down. So this is where you kind of, patience is key to kind of wait it out, see maybe a few days of trading, a week of trading, to see if this is like a true kind of uptrend, or if this is just, what do they call it? The dead count bounce, or I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy
dead cat bounce,
crazy terminologies that have just weird made up words. But in theory, this is where people can get trapped thinking this is a reversal of a trend, buy into it, and then end up dumping more.
The main thing I want to see here to build confidence that this trend is continuing to be a bearish trend, like it's still going down, even though we've sold off so hard. Should we continue to expect it to sell off more, is this OBV metric, which is on balance volume, showing money either entering or exiting the market. And you can see it's making new lows, lower lows, as the price is making lower lows. That to me indicates we're continuing right on cue, right on target with our trend. We're probably going to keep going down. You can see the RSI, the SRSI here, Stoch RSI is starting to look a little like oversold on the daily. So again, my guess is we're going to like range in between these two resistance lines. Like probably won't be dropping below 19 or 20,000 for Bitcoin, and then probably won't be pumping too far beyond like 23,500 or something like that. If we do start to pump up about that, I expect at this point this line to hold, this blue line to hold as the major resistance here. If this blue line gets crossed, I'll be more inclined to reassess my bearish sentiment. But now, like I said, I'm still waiting to see Bitcoin fall a little bit below 20,000 and around 20,000 for Bitcoin, around $1,000 for Ethereum. I am not shifting my bearish sentiment, but I am done short selling basically. Like I started shorting months ago and I've been maintaining short positions this whole time. I've recently closed like most of them, about 2/3 of the entire short. So short being I had borrowed Ethereum and Bitcoin, sold it back months ago, and now recently I bought back those Ethereum and Bitcoin, or at least a portion of that position to pay off this loan. And I keep the difference in the cash that I sold it at versus what I bought it back at.
So for context, we're probably in a place where Merry and Pippin are slowly waiting for the Ents to have their meeting to decide if they're going to storm Isengard. And so, you know, the Battle of Isengard is still ways away, and we're just kind of in a limbo period here.
Yeah, I'm guessing like this week is going to be kind of like interesting because there's going to be, I think Wednesday there's so tomorrow there's another Fed meeting about like interest rates and hikes, and like what I'm seeing in like the traditional finance world is like a lot of institution like players pushing for pretty high numbers there, which would be bad for all markets. Kind of like the options are hyperinflate the dollar or let the markets correct, and we'll find out what decision they go with. And letting the markets correct equals, you know, a short-term sell-off. So we could still see like a nice, large, continued pressured sell-off, or like we've just seen this dump here, we could see it dump to here and then move sideways again. My guess is until we hit this trend line.
Yeah, I feel like trying to trade the news
to the trend line and then keep going down.
I feel like trying to trade the news is difficult, and always, you know, there's a big margin of error there, but there is some pretty big macroeconomic fiscal policy that's like looming here with the Fed chair, at least in the United States, talking about interest rates. And, you know, so it's a very unusual market. So, you know, Max and Sid really like to trade just looking at the chart, but, you know, they're more so than most scenarios. There's very big implications for, you know, the next 5 to 10 years as far as macroeconomics and in the nature of like what interest rates are going to look like post-COVID economy. All these, there's a lot of weird variables at play, more so than there has been in the last 10 years. Definitely. You know, large scale ground war in Europe. I mean, like, there's a lot of things to take into account. So I do think just trading the charts kind of inoculates you to making foregone conclusions on very complex like global economics and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you also see things like inflation rates or like what is it, the consumer CPI numbers, the consumer price index numbers published recently, and they're like, oh, they're like as the lowest they've been in 40 years. But then it's like, what the fuck is that? Kind of a misleading narrative, because if you look at how the market conditions were 40 years ago, when the numbers of the CPI index numbers were the same as they are now, as bad as they are now, 40 years ago, interest was like 4% or something, and like the national debt was under $1 trillion. You know, today we're at 0% interest and $30 trillion in debt, and we're like, oh, the numbers are just as bad. Like, yeah, just as bad, but like the economic climate around these numbers is unprecedented. So like
Yeah,
this is way worse than it like seems on paper.
and my point being is like there's a lot of people who try to, particularly on Twitter, there's like, you know, armchair economists and armchair hedge fund managers here that all like try to tell you like this for sure is going to happen. And I just, I guess these things are exceptionally complex normally, and even more complex by another factor, just given how weird the last few years have been. And so I would be very careful trying to think that you can kind of read the tea leaves, and particularly trying to follow the news or follow like things you see on TV, to just like really take a step back and just like, you know, make a plan, because it's really easy to be distracted by all these things and get sucked into what some expert is saying, particularly on the internet.
Did you guys Pennybags comment? Pennybag said, when resistance lines are underneath the current trading price, it's technically known as support rather than resistance, if you want to be specific.
Yeah.
Did you address that?
So for that, I always want to basically, I would call a line on the way down support. So here it's like it'll be support, but then if you're coming back up, this is kind of like the nomenclature, and I think I've been using it wrong. So thanks for calling that out. On the way up, to see here, like for example, this blue line where it's getting rejected, so that line would be considered a resistance line, whereas the lines where we're dropping to and then holding for a while, like this orange one here, that's a support line. So that's what they're saying is like, I'm like kind of being playing fast and loose with calling any of the lines resistance. So these are like supports rather than resistance levels. And then the resistance I drew out in blue at the moment. And so that's kind of like, thanks for calling that out. Totally have been miscalling those things, and I feel like that's not doing anybody any favors.
3 words, Max. How dare you?
I also I got to go to the doctor and get my fucking prescriptions refilled, and sometimes that can take fucking hours of waiting, and I don't want them to shut before, so I'm going to dip out. I sent the prizes for today, but have fun with the tech talk, and I'll see you all on Discord later.
The one thing I wanted to point out here too, and this
we're really gonna lose it now, lose off stream. We're really gonna go off the rails
here. So like I was saying, this unbalanced volume, right? This is, I like to see this making lower lows and then failing to make higher highs, which this is kind of a nice, let me zoom in a little bit here. If we look at this before all of this dumping happened, when we saw that the daily broke the orange line here, this is the middle line of the Bollinger Bands. It's like a smooth moving average. But when we broke above that, we saw a new peak here on this, but this new peak was not anywhere near. If we look last time, the price was the same as when we broke through, like up here. The price was like over here-ish, right? This peak in the on-balance volume during that price action was nowhere near the peak during the last time the price was similar. So still making a lower high, even when it was starting to show some signs of like, oh, we are approaching the resistance that I have like charted here.
Well, here, Max, pause real quick. On balance volume. So can you just go into detail? How's the on balance volume calculated? I don't quite understand. Question. Nathan.
Yeah, that actually, I wish I knew that better too. So this is a metric that I was shown by like somebody who I know who's a venture capitalist like trader, that they explained to me like on balance volume is a very complicated equation that effectively shows money moving into or out of a market, and that's the depth of my understanding of how this equation works.
Okay, that's the point of the equation is to visualize money moving into and out of an asset, but how specifically that is calculated, we are unsure.
Mystery to me as well. If I'll actually look into that this week, and then maybe have a better answer for that next Tuesday.
Oh man, this is pretty good.
But yeah, so
heavily into Alderon, hope it booms. Yes, respect, tip of the hat to that.
Nice. But yeah, so that kind of helps us keep our bearish sentiment even when the chart starts to look like, oh, we might be turning around, is understanding that, oh yeah, but money isn't coming back. And the whole like concept of smart money leading the charge isn't without truth. So there is like definitely like big money tends to move before the rest of the market does. And that can be seen on these on balance volumes. So you can see here we failed to make a higher high, even though the price is making higher highs in the recently days. So we didn't necessarily shift our sentiment to long. And then here you can see money continue. And even here, when we got kind of a double like peak coming up, you can see the second peak is either like at the same height or slightly lower actually. So again, not making higher highs. And again, we can keep our sentiment short, which serves us well because now we got to participate in this sell-off. And you can see money is still leaving the market as it's selling off. The reason I'm kind of focusing so hard on this is because yesterday was the first time in over a year that I bought more Decred. And you can see the Decred charts here, while they fall, when the money like comes back up, they are printing higher highs here. Like the on balance volume in Decred at this price is the same, is higher than it was at a like significantly higher price. And on Binance is the deepest liquidity for this token. And again, if we're looking here, you can see the price of Decred is just shoo, but the on balance volume, this to me indicates buying opportunity. Again, obviously not financial advice, and Decred is a deep cut asset that I'm just a big fan of for governance reasons. Or just, yeah, it's not a token that like I feel like a lot of people are aware of, but it's a good example of this on balance volume where you can see, oh wow, price falling, money coming into the market. And then let's see, we can see that kind of on Wax as well, where Wax had money moving into the market on the way up. We're now looking at trading view on KuCoin. So this is Wax and Tether on KuCoin. Since it started listing on KuCoin, you can see it was like aggressively dropping for this first chunk. But
This
oh
is Wax,
boy,
correct?
this is Wax. But man, this is not that aggressive of a downtrend for how aggressive that market price is going down. But it is still a downtrend. It is still not making, or here, let's actually look at this a little closer before the trend reversed. You had money entering big high, much higher high, even though it's way higher price. This is a bullish sentiment, even though the price is going down. Next, okay, price is dropping, on balance volume dropping. Okay, I might lose my confidence a little bit more. Next price drop. Okay, starting to fall here. We're at a lower price here and a lower on balance volume still. Yep. Tracks, it tracks, it tracks. Here we're making, wait, oh no, I didn't want to move that. Here we're making higher highs. So look at this. The price is about the same here as it was here. But we did peak above this. You see that? Like the top of that line is almost at the 1. So it's making a higher high. This is our first indication that this downtrend might be reversing. Let's see what happens next. All right, the price is climbing, and so is the volume, on balance volume. We made a low after this high, and it's a higher low than the previous lows as well. There's like a previous lows here, higher highs, higher lows. This can start confirming I might buy into this asset here. So now, oh, giant price spike, giant volume spike too. Does that mean it's going to like dump back? Oh yeah, doesn't mean it's going to hold. But look at this, the price back down to where it was before this giant price spike. But oh, what's that? Money is not leaving the market. This is my first indication that it's time to buy hard, like especially around here when we break this long average. Oh baby, like around 22 cents. And I was buying around 22 cents pretty aggressively back then. And you can see these metrics. And now price is climbing, on balance volume climbing. Lovely, love to see it. Price is falling, on balance volume holding. I'm not selling it. Price is falling. Okay, here, once we fail to make it over, like basically, once you get this uptrend breaking through the middle B-bands line, you should actually start considering like, okay, are we going to keep falling or move on? When we retested the middle B-bands line and failed, here we can start to kind of like be like, maybe we should start selling, falling. And then again, we're testing and failing. I might have sold here, I think. But in reality, what I did when I bought at 22 cents is I started selling around here when I saw the market go up, and I was selling like every day as it was climbing because I didn't know how to time the top, but I did know that I was at double my investment at like 50 cents. So I started just selling every day and enjoying the ride up. And I think I kept selling all the way through this dump until we started seeing here. Oh, higher highs. Interesting. Lower value, higher high. This might make me think that price is going to reverse. And now it becomes more important to look at this price not only on KuCoin. Am I also seeing this on other exchanges? So then I would come up here for crypto. Let's say WaxP, USDT on Binance. So we'll take a look at Binance and look at that. Oh man, Binance is not seeing the same sell pressure at all. Binance is seeing value entering the market for Wax and just staying there as the price is falling.
Can you look at Binance US since WaxP just recently got added to that?
Let's see. Binance US, WaxP, and here you go. Oh, it's a very small graph. Very recently it was added. So let's go to the 1 hour. And here's what we're seeing in Binance US so far. Prices dropping, values being, so people are cashing out their Wax mostly through this exchange. But like we saw, people are cashing into Wax mostly on Binance, the main one. So to get a real perspective on some of these like volumes, you want to look at the on balance volume across multiple exchanges. The reason I don't do that so much with Bitcoin and Ethereum is because they're so well established and on so many exchanges that those on balance volumes tend to be similar. That said, you can actually see no, that's too off topic. But yeah, so you can always take a look, see what we're doing here. And now you can see, you know, we're hitting up overbought already here on the hour. Money's not coming back in. I feel like this, according to just these metrics on the 1 hour chart, Wax should be rejected at the middle B band line. So we might climb more to like 8.5 or maybe even like,
yeah, we can start incorporating some terminology. Like if we have some green uptrends, we'll say it has you know, some Qui-Gon influence. And if it's going down, maybe some Vader, some Darth Maul you know, indicators.
Yeah, Sith vibes.
Yeah, we'll really change the technical analysis terminology field one by one.
I always really like Bitrex too, so I'm gonna check Bitrex because Bitrex has had Wax trading for probably longer than all of these other ones. If my scroll wheel will let me scroll out. Let me. Let's see if I go to 4 hours. And then 1 day. It's not going to let me do the toggle I want to do. I'm going to do like a toggle like this. And then I have to go back to, let's just do this. Toggle. Not on KuCoin, but on Bitrex. There we go.
So yeah, I think the nature of the market these days is the super trend still follows Bitcoin and Ethereum when you're looking at things like Wax or smaller market cap coins. But you can see within that super trend some fluctuation individually with those assets as far as, you know, what's going on in that ecosystem, you know. So even though the trend is somewhat down and follows Bitcoin, you can see some pumps or some shifts based on, you know, say like the Binance US listing for Wax and things like that.
Yeah. Here you can actually see the unbalanced volume starting at 0 when it was first listed. People using it to sell out of their Wax, people moving money back, and then it has been moving money into Wax through this through Bitrex. And look at that, even as like all the way moving into all the way up to the peak of the run. And then since the start of the sell-off, very little on balance volume money leaving the market through Bitrex. So still holding insanely high. Like look at this on-balance volume level here is, it's here, and then the price is at this red mark, right? That red line is the price right now. That means the last time it was here. Like the on-balance volume right now is this far, like this high versus where it was last time at the same price, here or here, which is like, damn, that's insanely bullish. That makes Wax look like it has a lot of room up, which totally tracks with our resistance red line right here, which was marked months ago as the bottom for Wax price. And like now we're seeing, okay, on this market, yes, Qcoin gets used a lot more than these other exchanges recently for cashing out. You can see the on-balance volume on Qcoin is fallen quite a bit, but it's also the lowest price it's ever been. You can see this, like the red line's about here. Like the on-balance volume is about here, slightly below where it was, when we were at the same price. Other exchanges way above. So again, I bought Wax at 8 cents the other day. Like, I think it's a good price. I don't think it means it can't go lower, but I do think that at this price, the utility and the demand for Wax, as well as the on-chain, like not chain, but on exchange metrics of on-balance volume for Wax feels buyable to me. And like I said, yesterday I bought for the first time after closing some of those short positions. I bought into some of these assets that I was like, okay, great. Like I've been waiting for this. And again, investing is having a plan and waiting for, your targets to hit. The targets have hit. It's time. All I had to do was follow the plan, which is, close some shorts, pick up some tokens that I like. And those tokens were, like Decred Wax. I think I got a couple Harmony One, a couple more Tranquil tokens at like 2.5 cents or some shit. Like just stuff that I actually use the protocols of, that I actually want a bigger stake in, and that have these metrics that are like, I like the price. I like the stock at this price. Yeah, 8 cents for Wax.
Yeah,
great.
I think the psychology of it's key is that now you can say, hey, look, am I happy? Ask yourself a simple question: am I happy buying Wax at 8 cents? Yes. So you buy a little bit, say you have, a certain dollar amount that you're willing to invest in it. You set that at a time where you're comfortable, you time where you can be honest with yourself. This is the amount of money I'm willing to invest, and I'm okay to lose before, things are on fire, and then be like, okay, I'm happy at 8 cents. If it goes lower, that's great. If it goes higher, I know I bought at a target price that I'm happy with. And then the action, you don't feel like you have to make the perfect move at the perfect time, because it's just, that's chasing the dragon, and it just really is not. It's not a sustainable idea. If you were the perfect trader all the time, you'd probably be in a different line of work. So so I think that's key. And then if it does go lower, then you also have some dry powder ready to buy back at a better price too, but you're not disappointed at 8 cents.
Let's keep in mind, the idea here is not to buy the bottom and sell the top. Like, if you can do that, wonderful. Like, help me understand how. But the idea is to manage the risk tolerance that we have with an investment, and at these prices, I can accept the risk of holding this token, is what that means. Not necessarily, I think this is going to go up. It's more that I think there's risk with all of these assets, but there's also a price target where the risk, the reward potential is outweighing the risk of the acquisition. So it's kind of, like, I'm not trying to call bottoms or tops for prices, and I don't think anybody should try that. It's really like a losing game, but yeah, I think from there, let's look into like Wax right now, since I like this. I like the stock. 8 cents for Wax. That gives me $8. I can buy 100 Wax.
I can't wait for your congressional testimony, Max, when you're like, oh, you're telling us that you would spend this much money on Wax. I like the stock. I like the coin, stock. Man. I like the chain.
I like the coin. I would, and I do. And I already like I represent a pretty decent percentage of the liquidity available of Wax as well, because there's a great strategy there where you can earn and own a cut of the entire Wax marketplace.
Well, so here, well, just real quick. So So we're at about an hour and a half. So would you want to start shifting into your $10 wax investment thing? Maybe set the tone to get that started here at the end of this stream.
Yeah.
Probably should wrap it up around 2 hours here. So
yeah,
and
I
then
don't
you
mean
can
to go
set the
super
tone
long
to
with this
lead
part.
into next week to really lean into this whole thing. So
yeah, so let's do that.
so for context, like for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning, Max is trying kind of like an idea with the theme for the tech talk that he's going to start with $10 in wax and kind of use that as like kind of an investment everyone can watch in real time to see different strategies that you can use to grow that $10. And this is kind of like an interesting experiment for Max to kind of see, okay, how far can I take this $10 with different strategies over what period of time? How quickly can he make it $100? So on and so forth. And certainly not financial advice, but a fun thing to follow along with and to see how he could approach things like this. And it'll be fun to watch in real time. We're only going to make trades or do things on stream so that it's not like Max is doing 100-day trades in between. And then, oh yeah, if you do 100 swing trades every day for a week, you too can turn $10 into 1,000. It's supposed to be like more like kind of nice, simple approaches. So it can kind of as a teaching mechanism to kind of see different
the objective I'm going to have
really in a bear market.
Yeah, my objective for this, I'm going to take 100 wax, and my goal is to outperform staking 100 wax. So if you stake your wax, you should be able to earn about 5% APY on your wax. So in 1 year, I should be able to make 5 wax with 100. I think I can do better than that, and I think we all can, but also without having to like time markets or buy and sell or flip anything. I think we can do better than that just by participating with our wax in different ways, or possibly even moving our wax into other blockchains. So let's see.
Here's the idea for you, Max. If you're feeling squirrely, is by the way, Max owns the FTW extension, so maybe we could he could just seed a bunch of wallets here with this idea. Here's something that you could think about. Could you load a couple of accounts with $10 and try different tactics and then compare them to one another to see their performance? That's kind of an interesting idea. There's a certain level of maintenance on you, so I guess I'll defer to you on if that's like too much effort.
I'm down. Let's make like, should we make like 2 wallets here? I'll make like 2 FTW wallets. From scratch.
Because then you could compare like, okay, maybe one's like a DeFi strategy and one's like a staking strategy. Actually, that's what we should do. Is just like you can stake wax or something and then compare the 5% staking to what you're doing with this more active trading style.
Yeah, I like the idea of like maybe comparing a couple of DeFi strategies too. So let's do let's do that. So let's start. I'm going to start by assuming you've made a cloud wallet with wax. Just so that we don't have to go over that. I feel like if you haven't, there is definitely resources online to make those wallets for yourselves. So let's assume that you have one, but now what you want to do is you want to create yourself a new wallet, a wallet where you're the owner of the private keys, and you want to do that so that you can use it to build either an NFT collection or maybe a position as a DeFi, whatever you want to do. So let's start by doing that. So I'm going to go to blocks.io.
And ultimately we'll use like staking wax as like the baseline. So that'll be our control. Now, obviously, I don't think we really need to we don't have to stake it because we know the stake rates are fixed at like 5%, right? So when you stake wax P, you get a 5% return.
So let's take a look here. So I'm gonna go blocks.io, right? And I'm gonna change this drop down to wax. And now I'm gonna come up here to wallet. And then I'm going to say create account on the left side. And then here it says, if you need to generate a new owner and active key, please use this eoskey.io. So I'm going to click on that. And of course it can't be reached. And that's going to make it harder to demonstrate how to make a wallet from scratch. But I think I actually already have that downloaded. So let me,
you didn't say the magic word.
But I've downloaded it 9 times already. So when that website opens up, you should be able to basically, it just links to download. You choose Windows, Mac, whatever, Linux, whatever you're on. And it installs this folder for you. You open the folder and you click the setup.exe inside there if you're on Windows. I think on Mac it's the AP whatever APX or something file.
Yeah, so
You
this
just launch-
creates a private public key pair. Now, obviously, like you don't want to show this private key, but I think
So I
back
just show how to make it though. So like once you click launch, it does this little installing because it's a self-contained software. So every time you launch from that exe, it creates a new instance of this software. And then when you close it, it pretty much like uninstalls effectively. But what you want to do is click on the left side, generate and validate key pairs. And then here where it says generate keys, click the generate button. And now it created for me an EOS public key, which starts with EOS, and then a private key down here, which starts with the number 5. If I generate a new one, you'll see each new combination, or this is a hash, a public key hash. Each public side will always start with EOS, and the private side always starts with 5. So no matter how many times I click generate, I'm getting a bunch of different versions here. So Mark, would you mind hiding my screen so I can make a new generation, and then I can use that to create a wallet here?
Yeah.
Let me know when I'm good to hit generate again.
Yeah, you're off screen, so just tell me when you want me to put it back on.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm curious. So we can kind of do some fun metrics. I definitely like data driven stuff. So it'll be kind of fun to compare, you know, stake rates, typical stake rates versus these sort of active strategies. And then also like the timing, like how quickly can you say 50%, get 50% gains on that 100 wax, and particularly in a difficult market. And then we're in it for the long haul here at Neon Space, so we can really see. I mean, shit, even a year from now, it'd be really funny to see how much this 100 wax could change.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so and if whatever you can I think you can pull up my screen again if you want.
Okay.
If you can't get to that eoskey.io site, I can share this Windows Explorer.
Did you paste it into blocks yet?
No.
And create the wallet because we want to show the private key there.
Yeah, no, it's public keys to make wallets. That's why you can.
Oh, okay, got it.
So when you saw where I was clicking generate, where it created a public and a private key, if you wanted, for example, like somebody like Kate has a service where they'll make you a wallet for an amount of wax, or if you wanted me to make you an FTW wallet, you would have to create for yourself this pair, and then you could text me or DM me just the public key, the one that starts with EOS, which is the ability for me to see the wallet, but not for me to sign transactions for it. I can then use that public key to create for you a wallet that you can recover. And I'm going to go through the process of doing that right now. So for this account, I'm going to call this.
And because he's the owner of the FTW extension, he can seed any wallets from that extension. Getting the wallet extensions is another thing for another day.
Yeah.
But you can do this with 12 character wallets as well for free effectively, or I guess for whatever the 0.2 0.4 wax total to seed it.
So I call this one DeFi1.ftw, and then we can make DeFi 2, DeFi 3, and so on if we want to.
Let's see. Doing this will avoid the 5 wax. You got to send a new user.wam.
Yeah, so you do not have to do that if you have.
So
you can
once
do this
you already have some, there has to be an origin wallet that creates the wallet.
Yeah, you'll see here. I have to actually sign in from one into existence.
So if you already have a Wax Cloud wallet and you wanted to create an additional wallet in which you own the private keys, you would log into your cloud wallet and then from there seed the new wallet. Which would only cost basically 0.4 wax because 0.2 is the minimum you would need to stake CPU and net to create it. So no, you would not need an additional 5 wax to make a new non-custodial wallet.
And you'll be able to make this kind of wallet just from using your Wax Cloud wallet. I'm going to make it from using my FTW wallet since I want to use the extension FTW, and the only wallet that can name another wallet .ftw is the FTW wallet. But let me first fund that
and
wallet.
If you look on blocks, it'll actually show like who seeded the new wallet. So if you made Max is the best and you made it from FTW, it'll show on blocks that, this was the origin wallet that created this new one. So there is a trail that connects these things, just so you're aware.
Yeah, so here
And
I'm
if
about
you're
to
looking
send-
into other people's wallets, you can also see like, okay, is this an alternative wallet for the insert person here? If you're trying to be like a real blockchain sleuth, that is helpful too. If you're trying to investigate all the CD characters that come through.
Yeah, so now that we've made ourselves a private and a public key pair, I've taken the public key, the one that starts EOS, and I've copied it into my clipboard. So if I hit paste right now, it'll paste that. Then I'm going to come up here and click login and log in with the wallet that I'm going to use to create this account. So since I'm using FTW, I already logged in. But if I had my cloud wallet, I would just say add account, and then I could cloud wallet, and now I could log in here. And then, use my cloud wallet to sign for this transaction. The only difference there would be you have to create a name for your wallet that is exactly 12 characters long and has not been used before. So, like, for example, I did Max as mine, and here you can say it already exists. But if you do Max Collector, there you go. You could make this name from any wallet. You don't have to. You can make this with your cloud wallet.
Do OR.
Oh yeah, it's OR. Yeah, good to go.
Okay, there you go.
If you want to be Max Collector, you can create a Wax wallet, Max Collector. Use your login up here. Log in with your. I'm going to do first at FTW, but I can do it from any wallet because this naming convention of 12 characters that has not been used before does not require special permissions to create. But .ftw does. So I'm going to do defi1.ftw for this wallet. Then I'm going to take that EOS, the public key, where it says new public owner key. I'm going to paste that key. I'm going to do the same in the active key. This is just going to be a regular hot wallet. Now, earlier when you were asking about the 5 wax staked to the wallet, this is where you would do that portion of it. So by default, it's asking for 0.2 stake to network, 0.2 stake to CPU, and 3,000. I'm going to up this a little bit and give myself like 5 to CPU, just because I want the wallet to actually work.
Yeah.
And then now because
like
I'm
10 transactions a day or something like that, isn't it that for free? It's like 10 transactions a day, or is that just for the cloud wallet?
I'm not sure. It might just be for the cloud wallet. But we'll see. I think that might be eventually a thing that just is extended to every wallet. But so here now, let me. I'm gonna say I filled in all these things. This is my public key. Twice the name that I want, which is available. And the reason that this one is available is because I own the FTW extension, and now I can say create account, and it's going to ask to be signed by FTW. So you have to use the FTW active key to sign this one, which I can do that because I own it. And then failed with message overdrawn balance. Okay, so I'm trying to use too much wax. Let me see what my really quick. I'm gonna middle mouse click on account so that it opens in a new tab, and then I can check my wax balance. I have 11 wax.
Oh man, this guy clicks.
So I can click back over here. I think I'm just I'm going too hard on RAM. Let's just do like so it wanted to do 3,000. Let's do 6,000. And that's 5. This should be covered by 11 wax. So now let me try to sign this transaction one more time. And now it's a success. So now I can click on this transaction hash and see on the blockchain there now is first FTW has made a transaction to create the account. DeFi1 FTW has made this transaction. And you can also see if I look through other FTW transactions, this wallet has probably made several of such transactions. There it's making DeFi.ftw. Here it's making Seattle NFT Museum. Here it's making Rocket.ftw. Here it's making boobs.ftw. Hell yeah. Here it's making first.ftw. So that this one
Who'd
is
you
my
make
hot
boobs for?
wallet. Oh, that's definitely another OG. I don't remember
Oh, it
if
was like silent or something, or
yeah, I
secret?
think it was silent. Yeah. Oh, look, now FTW needs more stake because it's already out of CPU by almost double from doing that transaction. But you know, it's not a wallet I use for other things. Anyway, now I've signed the transaction. It exists on the Wax blockchain. That means so does the wallet DeFi1.ftw. Now I can add that wallet to my, what is it called? I can add that wallet now to my Anchor. So if I have Anchor wallet, if I'm loading this up for the first time, it'll basically look something like, it won't have a wallet already, but it'll be like, would you like to create a new wallet or would you like to import an existing wallet? So let me just do that really quick. The way that works when you don't already have a shit ton of wallets is, I think it's at the top, right?
I think Max is willing to seed wallets on the .ftw extension for people. So if that is something you really want, just shoot him a DM in Discord, and yeah, that is something that we're willing to do. It is kind of fun.
Yeah,
Neon extensions we keep for ourselves, though, since that's associated with the project and the business. So we won't do .neon extensions for anything that's outside of our own team, just so that, you know, if you see that, you know it's related to us.
So to now to use the wallet I just created, I need to import it. So I'm going to say import account, and then it's going to say import an existing account. Yes, that's what I want to do. And then here, import private key. So then it's giving me this field here where it's going to ask for me to paste the private side. So this is the EOS one. It wants the one that starts with 5 now. Do you mind hiding my screen for a second?
Yeah.
So I can.
And so if you're doing a hot wallet like that, the hot wallet being that the private key is exposed to, you know, the internet, so you could paste that. But if you're doing it from a hardware wallet, so if you have like an EOS app on your Ledger or Trezor or something, then you would just log in with your Ledger in that way and connect to Anchor, and then it would import the private key directly from the hardware device. So
okay, you can share my screen again. And you can see my Alcor wallet, right? Or Anchor wallet on screen right now, right?
I can see the Anchor app, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me come back over here. I'm on Anchor, and now if I go paste, that's the private key side. And then here you can actually see the public key is showing. It's the EOS key that I just put in. And then you can see here it's showing me now, oh, that's the key for both active and owner. You can create multi-signature wallets where there's a different owner key than active key. It's more complicated and more secure, not necessary for what I'm doing. So I'm going to say just check the active key and then say import account. And now it's going to want my password. This is just for your local wallet password. And once you do this, it will add my DeFi one to my list of wallets, which I have to look through now because it's getting too long.
Yeah, you have a shit ton of wallets.
Yeah, let's see. There it is, DeFi1.ftw. So now I can click on this. And I'm in. Boom. So now I can come over to, I'm going to fund this wallet here really quick before I sign out of this one. So I'm going to say transfer to DeFi1.ftw. And I'm going to transfer 100 wax.
It's starting, guys. It's starting. You're gonna watch generational wealth be made in real time.
And then on top of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in with first.ftw and stake remotely a little bit more CPU just to make sure I have enough. Because let me check right now. If I go to DeFi 1.
Yeah, so this is
Oh,
we're
look at
we're
that.
showing
Native.
some fun stuff in along the way. So you can see at the top, I'm pointing like you guys can see. I'm so stupid. You're scroll up, you can see, buy FTW underneath at the top there. So you can see if you really wanted a blockchain sleuth, you can see who's making these additional wallets and kind of backtrack if you wanted to.
Yeah, and if you find a wallet that you don't know who made it, like for example, FTW is its own wallet. It says made 6 months ago, but you can just look into its transaction history and just go to the very first transaction.
But yeah, what Max is about to do is, if you're not aware, you can remote stake from one wallet to another. So
yeah,
like,
that's why I was going to show that too. And here you go. So Max created FTW.
So instead of sending, like, say you have someone in the community that's like, hey, I'm trying to buy this drop, I'm short on wax right now. You could remote stake to them. It stakes to their account, but you're in control of the stake and unstake period and transactions. Yeah. So, if you're juggling your own wallets, you can do that. And yes, you would still get voting power. So I think the staking, that's a good question, Max. Do you know, like, if
you sure do, the staking party gets voting power. So if I stake to your wallet or to my own wallet, doesn't matter. The voting power is still from the wallet that's committing the stake.
Providing the stake. Okay.
Yeah. So here I'm going to go to first.ftw where I have some more liquid wax here. I just logged into it. So now I'm going to go to wallet, and then I'm going to say stake CPU and net. And then by default, it adds it to first.ftw, but I want to do DeFi1.ftw instead.
Yeah, and if you go to unstake, you can actually, it'll show you all the wallets that you're staked to. So if you were like staking someone to get them started, and then like a week later you pull it back because they're now established, it'll give you a list of wallets and how much you stake to each of them. And then you can pull that back at any time when you want. So it's kind of a nice thing. We do that all the time with Neon Space when we need to like mint things or do pack contracts and stuff.
Yeah, and then so here you can see first.ftw it says CPU stake 36, and then it says staked 2 others 21 wax, self stake 15 wax, and then if I click on the actual CPU stake, I think it'll take me and show me here. I've staked to DeFi1.ftw. I've staked to the Misinformer. The Misinformer. Oh, okay, yeah. I made that wallet too. And then I've staked to somebody who was trying to help out, I think, who got stuck from this wallet. But yeah, you can see from any wallet, like here, Max.
Yeah, so real quick, Random King 206, like to get the domain or the extension, it's actually like a name bid.
Sure, I can show that really quick.
You need to be the top bid for 24 hours, so that does cost wax.
Yeah, if you come up here where we were going to wallet on Blocks.io, if you go to the More tab and then see down here where it says name bids under account, you can click here, and then with your wallet logged in, you can see the current bid right now is 1,001 wax. But if you were to then put the next bid below, you could do 785 wax to ask for your own name. Which would be like, let's say I want to bid on shit.
Well, shit's already there.
Oh, well, that's a good one. Well, I can outbid. It's not been taken yet, so I can outbid shit. So if I wanted to, I could say shit like that, and then I would have to put a higher bid in than this, 785. And then I could just say bid. And this bid would become this wax would become refunded to worker, and then it would be my bid would be the highest. If somebody outbids me, I would get my wax back. The only way to get your wax back is for somebody to outbid you for the same name that you're bidding for, or for you to win your name bid. Once you've committed the wax, there's no way to cancel your bid. So keep in mind, that. And then, of course, you can only bid for names that exist. So if I tried to do Max, for example, that doesn't exist anymore. Someone else already has that. So if I say Max and then try to bid like in wax or something, because I don't actually have 700 in this wallet, it'll fail if I try to do this. But either way, so you'd want to check if the wallets exist by just typing the name here. So if you say max and check, oh yeah, this was already made 2 years ago. Somebody made max, not me. But there's great names like DeFi. So if you wanted to create a .defi extension,
Why a
gone, no
wallet would
chance.
claim a wallet exists, but blocks.io wouldn't save it exists? Like these wallet extensions doesn't show who made it because it was part of the bidding process. So because it's like a separate
there's also
process, I
another
don't think
answer
it
to
shows
that.
okay.
The other side of that is a wallet can be claimed and not yet exist. So if you click here over need to claim, all of these names have been taken. Like Dab is gone. But if I now type
claimed
Dab into the here, it'll say it doesn't exist as an account because the transaction to create that name hasn't been broadcast to the network, but the ability to do that transaction has already been claimed. Only this wallet may name an account Dab.
Man,
because they own the
worker.wax
rights.
is really going hard
Worker
here.
does fucking work, dude.
So
Oh,
worker.wax is related to the
Sandbox
Wax Core
rules.
team. So they must be getting all the profanity out of there so no one else can take it.
Dicks. Oh man, I should fucking go for some of these, dude.
Cunt. Man, if I could have a wallet called shit.fuck, oh man, that's too bad.
Oh, dude. Yeah, fuck. Those are great. But they are buying a lot. And then some people are
the
paying
fact
a
that the
lot
Wax
of money
team's
for these.
buying all those up is probably just to keep them off rather than to hoard them. But who's
Well, they can't take boobs.ftw because that belongs to someone now. But yeah, this is how you would participate in name bids. So you go to more name bids, and then you'll have to do a little bit of research either on chain for your names or on this list of unclaimed names so far. And then once you win your bid, it'll leave from the current bid section here, and it'll appear over here on the name need to claim names. And then all you need to do to make the wallet to make the name is sign into blocks with the wallet that won the bid, come up to wallets, create account, and then using the wallet that won the right to make the name, create a wallet with that name. So then you just would, like when I did it with Max Collected, I won the name bid from Max Collected, and then I signed into Max Collected and I was like FTW, and it stopped saying that was a problem. It was like the red thing went away because I actually owned the right to do that from the wallet that was signed in. But yeah, so that's how you'll make your custom names. So for now, we've created an account, we funded it with 100 wax, and we staked some of that wax, some more wax remotely to it. So now I'm going to come over here on what is it? Alcor.exchange. I'm going to sign into my new wallet for the first time over here. So DeFi1.ftw. And there we go. And you can see, oh yeah, I have 100 wax. I can come up here. And I think the first strategy that I wanted to try for this first week is to supply liquidity to Nefty blocks and liquidity mine. I think it's a solid play. And I think that the Nefty token has like a capable team behind it, legitimate use cases, legitimate burn cases, and a nice long 7-year distribution cycle. I can see the team being around for that much time, and I like that project. Personally, I use that pool to fund my Ether mining, but we can use it to just generate more wax, and let's try that this week. We can reassess next week, but I feel like this is going to be a nice way to start. So I'm going to take a look at Nefty token on Alcor and just take a quick overview of these metrics. So we can see in terms of wax, it's up about 2%, meaning that the price is falling because it's costing me, I don't know, it's climbing because it's costing me more wax per Nefty token. So if I now do 50 wax, I would get 110 Nefty tokens for 50 wax. The other thing I want to take a look at is liquidity. How much wax is in this pool? So the wax is showing me only the wax. There's also Nefty token. If I click this arrow here, it'll toggle and show me the Nefty tokens in the pool. So you can see that the curve of those is actually different, and that has to do with the price and the value of those tokens. Basically it has to do with the value of the tokens, because this is only showing me how many Nefty tokens are in the pool, not what they're worth. So you can see that clearly while the amount of Nifty tokens in the pool is climbing steadily, the price has been doing one of these, which is then reflected by the amount of wax in that pool. Yoink. So it'll be like the opposite tail, where it's like, oh, it's climbing aggressively while Nifty token is not, and vice versa. So here Nifty token's flatlining. This is the area where like wax is pumping into the market as the counterpart. But either way, what I care more about than like explaining the way these lines are moving is how much is actually in here. So right now we're looking, that's 1.17 million wax. That's deep liquidity. What that means for an end user is that I can make a trade of 1,000 wax and receive a price impact of just 0.8%. That means that this pool is deep enough to facilitate a trade of 10,000 wax with less than 1% impact on the price. That's excellent for my wanting to, you know, participate in this pool with 100 wax. I know for sure I can get in and out of this pool at these liquidity depths without concern. So first of all, I like to see that there's liquidity. So if I'm trading an asset, I have an avenue to exit. Now I'm going to go over to Nifty Blocks. FDblocks.com. I guess I haven't been on this.
I think there's a C in there.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so coming to Nifty Blocks, connecting with my wallet. Again, brand new wallet. Just made this, just added the stakes to it. But I can already use it now across. And again, I copy and pasted those private and public keys. So if my computer burns down or whatever, my house is gone, as long as I know the private key side of that, I can always reinstall any wallet application, import account, paste the private key, and I would have access to all of the funds in here again. So the strategy I wanted to look at for this week for this position is going to be in the earn on the top here in rewards. And we can see here, sure, we'll accept the cookies. You can see here, this is like the rewards page on Nifty Blocks. They are offering 476 Nifty tokens every hour being distributed among all of these supplied wax and Nifty token liquidity holders. So I want to participate in this to get my share of that. And to do that, I'm going to come down here where it says provide liquidity. And it looks like it sees my 100 wax. If I put the 100 wax up, it needs the counterpart. So before I can use this tool, I need to source that counterpart manually. So I'm going to come back over to the Alcor swap. And since I'm going to do half of my stack into this, I'm going to go ahead and source 110 Nifty tokens by doing a trade like this. Trade is settled. Now I can come straight back over here. There's a refresh button right here. And now I can see it's refreshed. I can click on the Nifty stake. It's going to take the counterpart. So yes, that's what I want to do. Yes, accept the, read through, of course. I've done that on a different one. And accept that. Then after it's accepted, sign the actual supply transaction, which you can see here's what's happening before I sign it blindly. I can go through. It's saying Nifty, pay CPU. Okay, so I'm paying a portion of CPU first. Then EOS tokens. Transferring my tokens from my wallet with the memo deposit. Oh God, I'm just gonna grab this and move it. Deposit. There's the wax going to Alcor swap. And then it's requiring my active signature. The next transaction as part of this bundle of transactions is again a transfer deposit memo with my Nifty tokens, also to Alcor swap, and then Alcor swap add liquidity transaction. And then stake.nifty open transaction. All of these things I'm expecting to see. So great. Alcor swap transfer from to rewards.stake. Okay, so this is exactly what I want to see. Like, I'd like to look over these transactions if I'm doing something new to make sure that it is what I expect it to be and with this Alcor wallet or Anchor wallet, sorry, with this Anchor wallet, it does kind of like lay out for me what I'm signing very clearly. So I'm going to go ahead and sign that. Hopefully it didn't take too long to do it. I didn't. So now it goes green here. Liquidity has been added. And we can see here, I now have 69.05 wax Nefty, which represents 0% of the pool still. And let's wait and see what happens as far as Nefty rewards go. But hopefully that's not too little to register. I'm not sure if I didn't actually read the documentation on this, if there's like a minimum amount, but I think it should be any amount staked to your wallet should qualify me. So now I've entered this pool. I'm expecting to come back next week on Tuesday and see a claimable balance of Nefty as well as the same stake that I've already supplied. So what's now happening as far as what this position is I've added both my Nefty and my wax to this liquidity pool. And now every time when somebody pays, let's say someone does 100 wax into Nefty token, right? You can see here, there's a liquidity sourcing fee of 0.3%. That 0.3% is collected by the liquidity pool in the form of whatever the token. So in this case, in the form of wax. If this was a trade in the opposite direction, it would be in the form of Nefty tokens that gets collected by the pool. Either way, the pool collects that 0.3% per trade, and then I get my portion of that based on how much of the total pool that I own. So then if I go here to volume, you can see in wax terms in the last, let's say, so this is 7 days, let's do 24 hours. So like during this like hour period of trading, for example, 14,000 wax moved through this pool, and the pool took 0.3% cut of that. So this would be like 40 wax that the pool earned in this hour. And if I own like 1% of the whole pool, for example, then I would have earned 0.4 wax in that hour. But yeah, so that's pretty much it at this point. That's all I wanted to do for this position. I've added the token. I own a portion of the liquidity pool. That means I'm getting a portion of that 0.3% relative to the size of the pool that I own now. And then I've taken that pool position, staked it here on Nefty blocks, where I'm now, in addition to that yield from trading, also earning my share of this 276 Nefty token per hour. So let's see what happens next week when we check in on this, how much Nefty token, if anything, we've claimed, if there was an issue. If there is an issue where we don't get paid out for the mining because we don't have enough value in here or something, we are still earning the liquidity yield from the liquidity farming position. So either way, we'll have something to show for this in a week's time. But that's going to be, I think, the strategy to follow on wax for this week. Mainly, I also really like this pool because if we look at the price movement in it, we go to price, and that's 10% in a month. Not terrible, but here you see all time, like, it's not really lost its value relative to wax since the liquidity pool was introduced, which was around here. I think I mean I started farming this token like literally day one, all the way up and then all the way down, and then I think I sold some around here, and then I bought them back like here to start like liquidity mining, because by just supplying liquidity here, which you can do. So if I did a plus on the liquidity tab here, I could say add 10 wax, and it would require I have a 22 Nefty counterpart. But then I could just say supply that liquidity, which here I'll just do with this tiny amount. Oh, well, I'd need to stake more CPU now. So that's, I guess.
But yeah, in theory, like the Nefty reward system, so he could do the LP rewards, then that would generate Nefty token, then you could stake the Nefty token and then get wax. So that's kind of the broad stroke strategy that we'll see play out over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, so the Nefty token, what I like about it really quick here is when you do drops on Nefty blocks. So if there's a drop that I wanted to buy, like these are all free. These are, yeah, I mean, we can see it even before it goes on sale. But if I go to a drop, I can use Nifty tokens to buy any of these drops. So you can see here's the drops. Oh, and there's Paul. And then here, if I click this arrow, I can pay 11 Nifty instead of 5 wax. And then this transaction will actually go through the liquidity pool. Hey, babe. Yeah, I can't call you back. Wait, see. You just picked something up, yeah?
All right, well, I'm going to mute Max here. So while he's doing that. Oh, here we go. There,
really
back,
quick.
back.
Paul called me twice. I didn't want to ignore him. But yeah, so any drop on Nifty Block's platform is purchasable in Nifty token. And if you do that, this transaction actually will send 11.2 whatever Nifty to the swap, which here, check it out. Copy that number, right? And then if we go here to the swap, it will swap the Nifty token. And I'm willing to bet that's 5 wax. Yeah, there you go. And then if it's more than it was, like it shows here, you'll actually get the difference back from Nifty Blocks. When you use this platform, if you have a difference balance up here, it usually will say, hey, you have a remainder to claim. And then you can claim the difference back in wax or in Nifty. But when anything gets purchased from the drops page, that drives traffic through that liquidity pool, which we now can own a cut of. On top of that, I'm also getting the mining incentives for participating in the in staking that liquidity, and that mining incentive or the other side of that Nifty token is every time when I buy a drop using Nifty tokens or even buy anything with wax, I actually get a return of Nifty token. And you can see here the average 24-hour claim per wallet that's using Nifty Blocks is making about 8 Nifty tokens every day just for buying their NFTs on Nifty Blocks. So that's like another way you can get Nifty token. But I only have 100 wax right now. I definitely won't make much if I'm buying NFTs, so I'm going to use it to participate in this liquidity mining.
Yeah, this will be a good idea to see, like, relative to 100 wax starting point, how much a week's worth of Nifty volume really gets you. So we'll kind of see, but this is a nice entry level approach to like broader DeFi concepts in an NFT platform that's very familiar to most users on Wax. So I'm going to use this as a good stopping point here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Real quick, so you cannot destroy a wallet once it's on chain. It's on chain. The question being, what if I want to destroy a Wax wallet? Once it's connected to the chain, it's there forever. So that's a feature, not a flaw.
So you can regain the resources by simply
the resources out, but that wallet name will forever be there. The history will be there of what you did with that wallet, and no one else can make that name, even if you don't care and wanted to put it back into the pool. I mean, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Maybe that there are
if
ways
someone wants. Yeah, the RAM, yes, you can. So here, I guess
you can refund all the resources and basically make it a zeroed out wallet. So just to answer that question real quick, I will raid into Burst here.
And here's how you would claim your RAM back. You click on the Wax on the wallet tab here, and then buy/sell RAM, and then you can see here. If I go to sell RAM, it shows how much I have bought, how much I have in use, and how much I have available. And I can just say 100%. That's going to take all the available, and I would get my 13 wax back simply by hitting sell RAM and signing the transaction now.
Yeah, you just sell it back to the pool, basically.
You sell it back to like the RAM pool. Yeah, I canceled that. That's why it's popped up. But if you have it in use, you need to cancel your open orders on the marketplaces. And if you have created NFT templates, those will use up some RAM. So if you've created templates, there's really no way to get back that RAM. There is like a small cost in minting templates, but minting NFTs based on those templates, if you burn the NFTs, you get the RAM back as well. So like, for example, when we mint pack NFTs for Neon Space, when people start ripping those packs open, the Neon Space wallet actually gets that RAM balance cleared up again, so that I can use that same balance in the future to mint more packs, rather than have to effectively continue to pay for that over and over and over again, and it being a one-way suck. So yeah, if you wanted to claim all your shit back, unstake everything after you've signed all your, like, cancel your open orders, get rid of any NFTs in the wallet, and burn anything that you minted with the wallet, then you can withdraw the wax by selling the wax back, and then you can unstake your CPU and net, and you can effectively kill the wallet. If you wanted to give a wallet away to someone else, like if someone was like, oh, I love that name, can I have it? You can actually sign the owner key over to their wallet. So they can give you a private or a public EOS key, and then you can create like another signature from the wallet saying, I'm giving this EOS key owner rights. And then they would effectively be the only, after that transaction is signed, then you would no longer be able to sign transactions unless you have their private key. So you can,
okay,
you
so
can
it shifts the
away.
private key connection too. So you wouldn't know their private key by signing over the wallet.
Yeah, that's what happened to that one project that got hacked. Basically, somebody had access to their wallet and signed the owner key to their own like account, which effectively locked the creators out of their own wallets. Which is why it's important to keep those private keys safe, like the ones that we're generating in that little EOS key generator. Anybody who has that private key can access your wallet and recover it onto their devices.
All right, so we can answer any other questions in Discord. Like we're always available on there, so we can go into some of these more specific questions like offline here. But yeah, I'll raid into Burst here. I'll do some buying the dip to play us out, and yeah, tune in next week. We'll keep this as like a recurring theme to follow along with this 100 wax on this wallet, and we'll go from there. But thanks for joining us. You know, we lose a little structure when Lou's gone, so you know, appreciate the patience here, and thanks for joining us.
That's okay. I am with you.
I'm with you.
Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you. Here we go. Come on, push it. Buy the dip.
Not as fluid as when Lewis plays it.
Push it. Buy the dip.
How is it different?
Here we go. Come on, push it. Buy the dip. Buy the dip.
It's a little more choppy, yo.
Come on.
Oh yeah, I don't have the dedicated internet. Yeah.
First of all this whining by Wall Street is making me sick. 140% of GameStop was short.
Oh yeah, and no dancing. Yeah.
You can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of its stocks, crush these companies into the dirt, thousands of stocks into the dirt. Then when the individual makes money, everyone's entrepreneurs. I have a kid who bought a house, paid $50,000 and bought a house. After decades of the short, you have to accept the fact.
Yeah,
that
it's not as smooth. You're right.
Are playing the same game that you're playing, and now you're losing.
It's all about the audio anyway.
Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Buy the dip. Buy the dip.
Oh yeah, it's extra choppy. This sucks.
Buy the dip. Buy the
Yeah,
dip.
if I stop sharing my screen.
Push it. Oh my God.
No, it didn't happen.
Here we go. Come on, push it. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Push it. Push it. Buy the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
There's a lot of power in organization.
All right, well,
2 million people can get together.
I'm trying to fill the giant shoes, well, average size shoes that Lewis has. Thanks for joining us. We're
His
raiding
fucking
into
clown
Bird.
shoes.
I think he has normal size shoes. I don't remember.
Fill those clown shoes. Oh yeah, I am excited to see how this plays out in a week. I feel like there's